Hello everyone, I'm Siddharthan. In this video, let's understand how we can install and get started with Visual Studio Code or VS Code for Python programming. So VS Code supports different programming languages and it is like a very helpful IDE for programming. But let's understand the scope of VS Code when it's come to Python. So the other famous and widely used IDE for Python is PyCharm. But the disadvantage with PyCharm is that you cannot run Jupyter notebooks in PyCharm with the free edition. So you need to sign up with the paid one in order to get access to running the Jupyter notebooks and so on. But VS Code's free version itself like gives you access to this part where you can write Python script those .py files, and also you can work with Jupyter notebooks, the .ipynb file. So that is like one great advantage. And again, you have the other features that comes with any IDEs like the debugging option and other stuff. So you also have Git integration, and the other advantage of using VS Code is that you can easily connect to Azure Cloud and the other resources that's within this Azure Cloud. So these are the aspects. But now let's understand how you can install this, how you can create your virtual environment and start your first Python project. So that will be the agenda of today's video, and let's get started. So for this, I'm assuming that you don't have Python in your machine yet. So in that case, you can just go to Google and first search Python download. So from here, from this python.org downloads, you can download the latest Python version. The latest version for now is 3.12.5. So you can download this Python version. So I've already downloaded this particular file. So I'm just like going ahead and kind of canceling this one. So this is the first thing that you need. And then for VS Code, again, come to Google and search for VS Code, and you will see this Visual Studio Code, code editing redefined, and so on. So here you can, based on this operating system, it will kind of tell you the option to download it. So if you are on Linux, you can just run some commands on the terminals and get it installed with sudo apt-get or even with snap install and so on. So that step kind of remains the same. Okay, so these are the first two steps. So first you need to download Python, and then you need to download VS Code. So I'll open the downloaded files. So I have this Python 3.12.5 and the other one is VS Code user setup. So first I'll open Python, and here you can give this install now. So you can even go with customized installation, but if you want a simple process, you can just say install now option, and this will install this particular Python version or Python on your machine. And if you are on Ubuntu, Linux, and other kind of operating system, Python is kind of pre-installed, so you don't have to do this particular step if you are on Ubuntu and other related OS. But in Windows, you can download and install the latest version. So that is the first step. So once, as you can see, this installation, this setup was successful, so you can just close it. And after that, we need to install VS Code. So this is the downloaded application. So go ahead and open this one. And here you can accept to this agreement and click on next. So other things you can just leave it as it's the location where you want it to be installed and so on. So here we have this Visual Studio Code, and if you want, you can just create a desktop icon so that you can access this easily, and you can just add this to the path, and other things can be with the default parameters. So I'll click on next and say install. So this may take like a couple of minutes, but this probably won't take a lot of time. Again, if this is also depends on the machine on which you are running this. So these are the first two steps. So first is you need to install Python, and the next step is you need to install VS Code. So you can either launch it or you can uncheck this box and click on finish thing. So now let's open our Visual Studio Code, and then we can create our first project. So these are the files that I was like already working on. So probably I'll close this one and I'll say new window. So this is how this would look like when you open it for the first time. So you can create a new file, open a folder, and so on. So I would suggest you to create some folders on which you're going to work on it. So I'll open this particular my PC folder, and here I'll create a folder and maybe name this as VS Code. So I'll click on this thing and say VS Code underscore basics. So this is where I'm going to put my project files, my virtual environment, and so on. So let's say that this is the folder, or even you can create another subfolder. Maybe I'll create another folder and call this as VS Code project or something. So let's say you are working on multiple projects, you can have all those projects in this like main directory, which is VS Code basics, and within that you can have like multiple projects and so on. So I'll come back to my VS Code and click on this file, and I'll say open folder. So from there I can go to my PC, VS Code Basics and VS Code Project. So I'll select this and select the folder. So you can just say the trust author and so on. So all those things we can give. Maybe I'll increase the font size for you so that everything is probably large and clear. Okay, so this is the first step. So first we have kind of created a folder, and that's where we have this project files and all those details. So that's the first step. Now we need to work with Python, right? So for that, the other thing that you can do, it's like pretty easier when you do this, installation of this extension. So go to this extensions tab and install Python. So search for Python and you will see this thing. So you can click this and click on install. And the other installation that you can do is probably for Jupyter Notebook. So search for Jupyter, and this also you can install. So these are the two extensions that we are going to need. Yeah, so the Jupyter is installed, so Python is probably installed as well. So I'll search for Python. So as you can see, it's now installed. So these are the two things that we need. So I'll close this one. I'll come back to this main thing. So here on this files, when you do those extension installations, you will, when you click on this new file, so this is new text file, but this is just new file. So click on that and you can create a Python file or a Jupyter notebook file. So I'll click on the Python file. So this is a Python file. You can save this. So in the VS Code project, I'll maybe say this as getting started. This is a Python file, so it will create a .py file. Okay, and then so here we need to select an interpreter. Now this is the default interpreter, the the Python one that we have installed, but we can create a virtual environment. So for each project we kind of create these virtual environments. Second. Okay. Right. So we would create this individual virtual environment so that the libraries and other packages, or there's basically no conflicts between two projects. So let's say that one project you're using a different version, and let's say after a few days you're working on a different project, and now you're installing the same library, but the version would have changed. Now, when you go back and run the previous project code, it may throw you some errors, right? So we don't want that to happen. So because of that, we create virtual environment for separate projects. So when you run this for the first time, there is a chance that you will see that this would show you no interpreter selected. So in that case, you can click on this, and once you click on this, you will see something like this. So you can either choose Python 3.12.5, but this is like the global one, so this is not recommended. So instead, you can create a virtual environment. So click on this create virtual environment. So I'll repeat this again. Once you create this file, you will see this probably no interpreter option. So click on that. Even if you see this Python version, you can click on that and create a virtual environment. And within that, give this option, creates a .venv virtual environment in the current workspace. So that means in this project directory, it will create a folder called as .venv, and this acts as our virtual environment directory, and all the libraries will be installed there. So I'll click this. And for this interpreter path, we have to give the Python that we have installed, the same thing. So this is the one that we have installed. So you can click that, the global version one. So this will create a virtual environment directory, and our Python interpreter will be changed over here. Okay, so let's wait for this creation of this environment, and now you can see that it says venv. So this is nothing but when it says dot, you can look at this path. So the path is ./.venv. So when it says dot, that means this default working directory, which is VS Code project, and within that you have this venv scripts python.exe. So this is where our executable is. Within the scripts we have this python exe. So this is how this works, and this is the virtual environment that we need for this. So here I can just run some simple Python codes, like let's say hello world or something, right? So I'll execute this. So once you have written your code, you can click on this run Python file, and you will see the output in the terminal. So this says like hello world and so on. So this is from this particular file, and it says hello world. So this is how you can get started with VS Code. You may think that I already work with Jupyter notebooks. Now why do I need like a separate IDE, and why do I need, let's say, a PyCharm or a VS Code? So the reason we need to do this is Jupyter notebooks are great for exploration and great for some of the data science stuff. But when you're doing this scripting, when you're building this .py files, or working on some application where you're building some backend stuff or something like that, we can't do that on Jupyter notebook. So Jupyter Notebooks doesn't take into account the concept of global variables and local variables into that strict way. So you can run the codes like, you don't have to run all the cells like in a linear way. You can run the first cell first, and you can run the 10th cell, and then you can run the second cell, and so on. So there are like slight things, but when you get started or when you practice coding in IDEs, that's like much better as well. But again, Jupyter notebooks will be very useful when you're doing this exploratory stuff and so on. But for scripting and all those things, IDE is always better. And the other reason is this also has this debugger option, so you can look at how the variable changes, and it's very helpful to debug your code as well. Maybe I'll make a separate video of how you can use this debugger in a better way. But yeah, those are some of the advantages, as I said. So the main thing that you can remember is like, for exploratory purposes, for understanding the data and so on, Jupyter notebooks will always be better. But for scripting and building some applications and stuff around Python, so we need IDEs, right? So that's about it. So this is how you can run your .py files. Now, there is also a chance we may need the access to the terminal as well. So, you know, so if you think about it, right? So let's say that we are building a Streamlit application, or you want to install some libraries. So in those cases, we need the access to the terminal. So for installation, you can say pip install pandas or something. For running a Streamlit app, we need to run this Streamlit run app.py or something in the terminal. So we need to do that. But this doesn't have our virtual environment activated. So we need to do that now. So first we need to activate our virtual environment, and you can install the libraries and you can run the applications and so on. So that's the next step. So I have this terminal over here and it says Python. So if you click this, it will create a PowerShell version one, but you don't need that. So we can just work with this Python one. So this is not in the virtual environment state, as I said. If you just run, let's say, pip install pandas, so this is installing, but this is not installing this in your virtual environment. So this gets installed in your global thing. So that's the problem. So now we have to activate our virtual environment, and let's see how we can do that. So here I have this commands thing. So we need to run this venv scripts activate thing. So this will activate the virtual environment. But there is another command. So sometimes because of some permission issues, you may get error that you can't run scripts that are outside of this computer, or that has been created outside this local computer. So in those cases, you can adjust the execution policies of the script, and you can maybe copy this, or look at this, and type the same thing in your terminal. So where we are kind of saying this terminal or this particular session that now you can allow this particular time, for this particular session you can allow this. So it says set execution policy remote sign, means like those are not created in our local, and we kind of say that this is okay to run this one single time. So that's the purpose of this. So for this particular session, we allow the terminal to execute some of the scripts. So that's the idea. So you can run this. So now the execution policies will be adjusted for this particular session. So next you can copy and run this venv scripts activate. So what we are basically seeing is like, I'll probably paste this first. So we have venv scripts and activate, right? So if I open this venv and scripts, so we have this activate thing. So this will be executed, which will in turn activate the virtual environment. So look at this closely. So we have this ps and we have this path, right? So when I run this particular command, you will see this .venv. So now we are currently in the virtual environment of this particular project, the one that we are using. So here you can see pip list. So the list of libraries that's present. So these are the libraries which I've kind of like installed previously. And if you want to install, let's say, some other libraries, let's say let's install Streamlit probably. So this will install Streamlit in this virtual environment. Okay, so that's the idea. And then you can use those libraries and do stuff like that. So, and let's say you are creating an app.py for building a Streamlit app. In that case, once this has been installed, once you have written all the code for Streamlit app, you can just say Streamlit run app.py. So that's how the process works. So this is the first thing. So now we can create a Jupyter notebooks, and for that Jupyter notebooks as well, we can use the same virtual environment. So let's say that this can kind of get installed. Maybe let's wait for this execution to complete. So this is again installing basically the Streamlit library, but I think everyone is clear until this point. So This is again the other usefulness of using this, where we have that ability to access the terminals and run some commands on it. So that's like other thing that we are going to need in our programming path. So here I'll go to this file and click on new file. And once you have installed the extension, you will see this option to create a Jupyter notebook file. So here you can see our library has been installed, and then you can do a pip list. So this will list all the libraries that we have. It has Streamlit and other dependent libraries for Streamlit. So I can clear this as well. And now I'll click on this file and new file, Jupyter notebook. So in this Jupyter notebook, we have to select the kernel. So in this, you see the select kernel, right? So again, by default, it won't look at this virtual environment. So if you want that, you can click on this select kernel, Python environments, and click on this v.venv, again, the one that we have in our folder. So you can click that. And now you can like run stuff. So here I can just say print Jupyter. So now it's going to yeah, so the other thing is we need to install this particular IPY kernel package in order to run this Jupyter notebooks thing. So you can just click on this install. So this is how this works. So we are not running this Jupyter notebook on global packages and so on. Again, we are depending on the virtual environment that we have created. As you can see, it says .venv scripts Python exe. So this is how we can use this virtual environments in order to run our Python scripts, which is our .py file, and as well as the IPYNB file, the Jupyter notebook files in your system. Again, as I said, if you are using PyCharm, in that case, we can just view the Jupyter notebook, so we won't be able to execute it. So the advantage of VS Code is that we can do both scripting as well as working on Jupyter notebook. So this is like a very convenient way, and so on. So these are the things that I wanted to tell you mainly. So first you need to install Python and then install VS Code. And the other important thing is like how we are going to set up your virtual environments. And within this virtual environments terminal, after you activate it, you can run your pip install commands and other Python commands that you need. And these are the things that you can probably note. You can pause the video and maybe type these two commands somewhere. There is a chance that you may not need this particular command, but if you're facing some issues when you run this particular command of v and v scripts activate, if you get a issue saying that, a error saying that you can't run the scripts and so on, you can adjust this execution policies this way and then run this particular command, and you will be set with that. So I hope this video is useful to you for working with Python. I'll see you in the next upload. Thanks for watching.